Hello, my friend, and welcome back. Today, I would like to address a message that I have been getting personally, and I've been seeing a few spiritual people that I really like in the community speaking about this as well. Um, my hair's frizzy. And it is about that this is a crucial time right now. Specifically, these were messages that I have been getting recently and I have been seeing in the spiritual community very recently. And um, it is that we need to be paying attention to our thoughts. Now, either last week or the week before, I had a video that I talked about going back to basics, and this, I think it was one of the things that was covered. However, I'm getting the message that our thoughts are paramount right now because there is a lot going on. There is a lot of chaos energy in the planet, on the planet right now. If you just look at any news channel or anything, you can see this chaos playing out right in front of our eyes. And what we need to understand is that our inner world is so important for what we see on the outer world or in the outer world. It is created in our inner world first, and then we see it in our outer world. And what feeds that inner world are our thoughts. So, our thoughts, not just when we bring our awareness to them, our thoughts are going all day long. And this is what we have to understand. This is kind of the game. These are kind of the rules that we need to understand to play this game, to have this game turn out in our favor or the way that we would most like it to be, because we are the creators. And how we create is through thoughts. And the reason why thoughts are so important is because thoughts can come from rooted beliefs, deep rooted beliefs, and they can help us to bring awareness to those beliefs, and then we can then take the steps to change those beliefs. But the other thing that thoughts do is that thoughts feed our emotions and therefore our actions. So if you think a lot of times that you have acted, you've reacted and not responded, I think that you will reflect to find that a lot of times that action was rooted in emotion. And that emotion a lot of times comes from the thoughts that you're having. Now, you can even think about it in a way of, say you're having a bad day and your thoughts are aligned with that bad day. Your thoughts are in the garbage. They're trash. And then you think about something little that happens that rubs you the wrong way, and you totally react in a way that you would never react before or never want to respond, and in that moment you're very reactive. Well, you reacted because you were feeling an emotion, say anger, you reacted you reacted in anger. But that anger that was set off, and it feels like it came out of nowhere, really didn't come out of nowhere, because in this example, that day your thoughts were in the garbage the entire day. We need to get our thoughts out of the garbage and into the sky and into the divine, and we need to continue to work on this. This is a conscious effort that we need to put forth into aligning our thoughts with the way we want our life to be. If we want to think about that this time right now and our thoughts right now, with all of this energy entering into the planet and it's causing this uproar, where do we want to be in this chaos? Where do we want to be in this uproar? Do we want to be caught up in that tornado of what is happening right now and the chaos? Or do we want to be in our safe bubble being able to observe the chaos and understand that it's going on, but knowing and creating a reality in your immediate bubble that is conducive to how you want your life to be. Because don't mistake it that just because times are hard right now and things might be chaotic and things might be changing, it does not mean that your life has to be miserable or chaotic or anything like that. Your life doesn't have to be that way. And that is what the message of controlling your thoughts is all about. And it's not exactly controlling your thoughts, but it is steering your thoughts in the direction that you want to see play out in your life. So if you start to take your thoughts that seriously, if you start to really take them seriously and be like, okay, I can't be dwelling on, it's okay, thoughts pop up in your mind. We're humans. That's how our mind works. And it's not about controlling those thoughts that pop up in our mind. It's about grabbing that thought and holding on to it and having 50 other thoughts come behind it that is backing that one thought up. That is where we need to come in and intervene. Okay, some crazy random thought pops into your mind that isn't aligned, let it go. Just let it float by like a cloud. Bye-bye. And then redirect your thoughts to where you want to be. And if you have a hard time redirecting your thoughts, but you're feeling like your thoughts are headed towards the gutter, bring it back to the basic of gratitude. You can always redirect your thought to gratitude. And if you are having a hard time finding in the moment something to be grateful for, if you can take a deep breath into your lungs, then you have something really, really wonderful to be grateful for, that breath. And if you need to take it down to something as simple of the fact that you can take a deep breath right now, and that is what you need to cling to put yourself into the state of gratitude, because you can think about all the other people that no longer are here that cannot take a deep breath. You can think about the people who are sick and that can't get that deep breath into their lungs. Remember, gratitude, you can have gratitude for anything that can be taken from you, and your breath can be taken from you. So it seems kind of basic because, how many, I could only assume that it's thousands of times a day that we take a breath. It can seem very simple. So how can something as simple as breathing put me in a state of gratitude? Well, all you have to think about is someone holding you underwater. All you have to think about is maybe a time that you were sick, that you had a really hard time breathing. All you have to think about is maybe a time that you have had the wind knocked out of you. If you have ever had that experience, go back to that feeling. Don't immerse yourself in it, but just to remind yourself, wow, there was a time where I couldn't breathe, and right now I can breathe freely. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this breath. Start there. Start as simple as the breath. And then if you need to, keep expanding and keep expanding and keep expanding the things that you are grateful for until you are in that state of gratitude. And that is what is going to help to retrain your brain to being more aligned with the way that you want your thoughts to be. Because if we start to take our thoughts really seriously, like our thoughts, hey, if I don't want you to be paranoid or worried about like a bad thought that pops up and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to see it in my reality. No, the thought is more of the seed. So, and then your thoughts about it afterwards are more of like the water. So, it's okay if you have like a bad seed sometimes, but you just need to water the good seeds, the seeds that you want, with your continuous thoughts, with your conscious thoughts. So if you have that crazy random thought, You can let it go, and if you can't let it go, bring yourself back into a state of gratitude. And if those things aren't working, you can try, I've talked about it before, and say it's past that one thought and now you're snowballing. I think we can all relate to this. You have a crazy thought, but then you think like, oh my God, what if that is real? What if that's gonna happen? And then the what ifs come in, and then everything's coming in, and next thing you know, you're spiraling and you're snowballing down a path that you don't really want to go down. There's a really great coaching technique called the horseback rider technique. And I've talked about this before in one of my earlier videos, but it's when you're snowballing, imagine that your thoughts are the horse and you are the jockey. And when your horse is running wild, someplace that you don't want it to go, what does the jockey do? The jockey pulls back on those reins and says, whoa, whoa, whoa. So imagine yourself doing that. Imagine that thought is the horse and you're pulling back. Whoa, 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 pulling back. And then, what does the jockey do? Does the jockey make the horse completely stop and, stop exactly what it's doing? No. The jockey pulls back on the reins and then redirects the horse in the direction that it wants to go. So you can do, pull back, and this really works. I do this a lot. And so pulling back on those reins, stopping that horse, and then redirect it in a way that you want it to be directed in. You can redirect it towards gratitude, or you can redirect it to the truth. When you're having that snowball thought, you can ask yourself, is that really true? Is this really true for me? Say you're having a negative thought about yourself, and it's spiraling. You never will be good enough to do this. You can't even do what you have right now. How can you expand? Well, that inner critic's coming out, and you're trash. You can't do this. You're not good enough for this. You don't deserve that. Take that. Whoa, 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 whoa. What is true for me? Is it true that I am not worthy? Is that the truth? No, it's not the truth. You are whole, worthy, and complete just as you are, because you are cut from the divine cloth. So therefore, you could not be incomplete because the divine is complete. You could not be unworthy because there is nothing outside of the divine. So how could it be unworthy? How could you be anything but worthy? You couldn't be anything less than perfect because you are the divine, and the divine is perfect. And you can say perfectly imperfect, because we are perfect as we are, but we are still growing and evolving, and it's okay to be perfectly imperfect. That is your perfection. So, redirect that. Is that true for me? And then you realize, well, no, it's not true. It's really not true. So then you can go, okay. And then the next question is, well, what is the truth? And how do I go with the truth? And how do I cling to that truth? How do I keep that truth in my heart? It's bringing your awareness back to that truth all of the time. Say you're seeing crazy things on the news, like, oh my goodness, this is the apocalypse. We are all going down. We are going to be going up in a fiery ball of earth sooner than we think. Oh my God, what's happening? Everyone's going crazy. Ask yourself, is that true? Is everyone going crazy? There are 8 billion people on the planet. Is everyone going crazy? No. Okay, we can put that aside. Are we going to go up in a fiery ball of flames? Maybe. But the truth is, there's nothing you can do about it. And if that were to ever happen, whatever, then we would be released from these bodies, and our spirits would go and be one with the divine again. So what does it really matter if this illusory world were to disappear? No. And honestly, you probably wouldn't even know. There is a there is a quantum theory that, and I'll explain it in the example that was given to me. The quantum theory that is that the observer can never observe death. That if there is an observer and there's a gun, you know, what is that? The rotary, the pistols, like with the Russian roulette kind of gun, sitting in front of them, and they're playing Russian roulette. And the observer will either, the gun goes off and the observer either lives or dies. There is a quantum theory that regardless of the outcome, that the observer will always hear the click, even if it is the chamber that the bullet is in, and in that reality the gun goes off and it kills the observer. There is a quantum theory that the observer will never know that, because the observer is eternal and the observer can never remember or truly experience death, because there is no death. We cannot really die. Even if you think about our bodies that die, they go back into nature. It's not a, you know, matter cannot be created nor destroyed. So even when our bodies die, is it just something that we labeled that, or are our bodies returning to the earth? Would you consider that death if your body returned to the earth and then it just became one with the earth and the nutrients kept coming back? You know, so there is that quantum theory that we would never know. So if we end up in a fiery ball of flames, we would never know if it happened suddenly. It's just a theory. But that is how you can remind yourself of the truth. And the one part, the last thing I want to talk about, your thoughts, and this is the part that I feel like for me applies most, is when we are caught up in the moment. So I feel like, you know, before work I have this spiritual practice, I make these videos, and, you know, I have a silent drive to work that I really allow myself to reflect. But sometimes I feel like I get into work and I'm just so immersed in work that I forget where my thoughts are going. I can partake in gossip sometimes, and that's really unlike me, but that is me just being caught up in the moment and not having my awareness to how important my thoughts are. And then in the gossiping thing, how important your words are as well. So words are energy, but thoughts are energies too. So where I want to start to bring my awareness is when I am unconsciously moving through my day. I want to consciously move through my day. I want to be aware of my thoughts. I want to be aware that I am an abundant, magnificent creator, and everything always works out in my favor, and I am doing things perfectly, and I am exactly where I need to be right now, and that I am shining my light bright enough to play my part in raising the conscious vibration, in awakening all of those who are asleep, because we don't have to go up to every person and tap them on the shoulder and say, wake up. That is not how things work. It starts with within. It's shining that light, our light from within. It is putting out the kindness ripples. It is putting out the kind of ripples that we want to see come back to us. And that goes down to our thoughts too. Put out the thoughts. Think the thoughts that if they were to instantly materialize, that you would love that it would be so exciting. You know, everything works out for me and I'm in a situation that I really need to work out for me, and I just know it's going to. If that were to instantly materialize, like it were just to instantly happen, those are the kind of thoughts we need to be thinking, because I'm getting the message that we are not far off from that time, which is very exciting. But it's exciting if we are able to wrangle our thoughts. It's not going to be very exciting if our thoughts are in the gutter and that shit starts to instantly materialize. That is not what we want. Okay, so let's bring our thoughts to where if we were to instantly materialize, that we would be happy. that we would be overjoyed that our thoughts were coming to life. And that is our message for today. I'm going to carry it through with the rest of my week, the rest of my day, the rest of my minutes, and I encourage you to do so too. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Anne, and I hope to see you next time.